Hey guys, it's story time. Isle of Wonders.
What do you have to say about the Isle of Wonders?
If there is a place that this shop belongs to, it is there. Then again, I have never been able to keep an item coming from that island, as they always have a mind of their own.
My son has told me he never ceases to be amazed when traveling on that isle.
Indeed, you shall see it with your own eyes and will not believe it. That is, if your journey takes you there.
I still can't believe how it's ruled by chess pieces.
Yes, but you don't dare call the queens that. They have a short temper. Also, I wouldn't recommend trying to bring them a present, not even if you have two identical pieces. They will find a difference and fight as they always do. You want to keep away from that.
I'm glad my queen doesn't pay attention to that kind of materialistic trivialities.
Why don't you tell me how you two met? Love stories are one of my favorite kinds.
I had been king of Daventry for a few years, but I was lonely. My advisors would have these festivals where princesses from everywhere would come to meet me, hoping I would be interested in one of them. I never was, however, even though they generally seemed very nice.
Ah, the picky kind, aren't we?
One lonely night, the mirror showed me an image of this beautiful woman.
Ah, the same way King Alexander found Cassima.
Yes, but what intrigued me most was what I saw within her eyes. I knew I had to search for her. I traveled through the lands of Kalima and into this strange magical world beyond it until I found that tower where my Valenice was imprisoned.
Who imprisoned her?
A wicked witch by the name of Hagatha. They say she was jealous of Valenice's beauty. It was all too strange to me, as when I finally found Valenice, she never recalled having met her. In fact, she cannot recall much of her life before coming to that tower.
What happened to her? The witch, I mean.
I don't know. We never heard from her again.
Ah, but you found the love of your life.
Yes, and I'm very happy for it.
Okay. Mm. Optimus.
Can you tell me of the Isle of Mist? I only just saw it yesterday myself. I can see why everyone knows so little about it. The Druids are not very friendly to strangers.
They believe we will destroy their forest. I do not blame them. That is in part what we've done with the rest of the isles.
I'm a believer of the concept of nature and civilization being able to coexist myself.
Try telling them that. Anyway, no, I unfortunately don't know much about their isle. I've heard stories of a fantastic natural temple in the heart of the isle. But at this point, you probably know more about that mysterious place than I do.
Rosella would love to explore that island. She's a very brave girl, did you know?
I haven't had the honor to meet the princess yet, but I don't doubt your words.
Years ago, and mere minutes after Alexander returned home, I fell ill, and my heart nearly gave out entirely. It was Rosella who endeavored to travel into the fairy lands of Tamir to find a magical fruit that restored my health.
Did she tell you much about Tamir? I've always wanted to visit.
Maybe you can ask her personally when she recovers. What I do know is that she battled this evil witch called Lalote. It was there where she met her true love, Edgar, who was kept under a spell by a witch that turned him into a scared ghoul.
Did she come across many interesting items during her journey?
As I said, I don't know details, but I do know she found some strange artifact she called the Pandoras Box.
The Pandora's Box?
That is interesting.
Very strange indeed.
What is?
Not long ago, a man dressed in a cloak. And now that I think about it, it was very similar to that of the stranger at the wedding. He came asking me about such an artifact.
Are you certain?
I'm very sure of it.
That's very interesting.
Did this man mention why he wanted the artifact?
No, he was very rude, and he demanded information. He never said what for.
Have you seen him again?
As a matter of fact, I turned away, and when I turned back, he was gone.
Perhaps it was the same man.
I'm almost sure of it now. I wish I knew more to help you, Your Majesty.
I think you've helped enough. The Pandora's Box. Let's see. What do you know about the Isle of the Sacred Mountain?
A land of legends, of great things and great adventures. The winged ones believe themselves to be supreme creatures. I can't blame them. I've heard their stories. This idea of supremacy has been carried through generations.
Have you known them personally?
They are not as unreachable as they used to be, though some may disagree.
What do you mean by this?
It is true they open their doors by removing the cliffs of logic. However, their land lies among places only reachable by the power of flight. How in the world could a human reach these lands?
Good point.
I could bet all the money I don't have that they are perfectly aware of this. And knowing how they can be, I wouldn't wonder that they find amusement in this fact.
Shouldn't we give them the benefit of the doubt?
When we are speaking about the winged people, there's no place for doubt.
Doubt? That reminds me of how I became a king. I was such a young and inexperienced chap then.
I'm all ears.
One fine day, I was called by our former king, my dear Edward. May his soul rest in peace.
So you are not of royal origins?
No, but Edward didn't have any children, so I was tested. He told me it was for the good of his people and his kingdom, but he knew, better than I at the moment, that it was a trial. So I did as he told me and retrieved 3 magic treasures that we still have in possession.
What are these goodies?
Treasures. The magic shield with the power to ensure victory to whomever wields it. The magic chest of infinite, never-ending gold. And the magic mirror with the power of seeing into those places we cannot see.
Ah, they sound like a precious collection of items.
They're much more than that. King Edward made mistakes during his life and lost them. The kingdom prospered again only when they were returned.
I'm sure you're not a man that believes in good luck. 3 treasures can't make a kingdom prosper on their own.
And nor can one man on his own.
The hell are you talking
Luckily,
about?
I've had the help of individuals who
It's
strongly
a chess
believe in
box
our
of never ending gold, dummy.
Why do you call it the Isle of the Beast?
Has it Alexander ever told you? The prince that lives there now used to be a vicious beast.
Is he dangerous?
Not anymore. As a matter of fact, he never was. But you know how people can react to appearances. Some of the folks in this town believe I'm not someone to trust because of the wares I sell. Some believe they are too strange.
Must be
if
the
you
beard.
know what I mean.
That's absurd.
But that's how
They probably
this
think it's a
world
beard.
works. People often judge by what they see on the surface and fear that which they do not understand.
How is the beast changed into a prince?
He was actually under a spell and was finally returned to his original form by the power of true love.
I remember.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
Alexander
familiar.
did tell me the story. I apologize. My memory is not quite what it used to be.
No need to. You know the rest of the story then. The prince is now a great merchant, and I'm happy to do business.
Yeah, his lifespan was the lifespan of a flower.
Which reminds me, I now owe you
And
a
you know,
story.
yeah.
Aren't we all great merchants?
This is not the first time my family has been in danger.
A story of rescuing. Do tell.
A couple of years ago, just not long after Alexander had returned home, an evil wizard by the name of Mordak captured not only my family, but my whole castle.
My goodness, he must have been quite powerful to take an entire castle.
Imagine my shock when, coming home one day
This
from
thing
my
is
daily
creepy.
walk through the forests of Daventry, my castle was nowhere to be found.
How did you find this evil wizard and your family and home?
I was lucky enough to make some friends who knew where he was. This chap, Cedric by name, a talking owl, took me to the land of Serenia, where I later confronted the blackguard in a magic duel.
Ah, that's where the wands come from. Wasn't he the same one that captured Cosima?
Yes, Mordak. He's gone from the face of the world now, vanished in a cloud of smoke.
I don't mean to be a spreader of bad omens, but I've heard of worse stories where the villains never die, even when one's sure they did.
He's gone, believe you me.
Hard not to.
What can you tell me about this island?
There's not much to say about the good old Isle of the Crown that you may have not seen already. People here live a happy life, and the king and queen of the isle are the real rulers of all the islands, even though some green islanders, especially the winged ones, tend to disagree.
Rivalry of power. I've always considered it absurd. Real power lies in union.
Like I said, there's nothing much I can say that you may not already know, but the deal is a deal, so let's hear your story.
Not all the great stories about my kingdom involve me. The most recent I recall had me trapped.
Are you talking about the incident with the Mask of Eternity? I know your son was deeply disturbed during the events, but I never got to know exactly what happened.
A corrupted man, Lucredo, sought to stop the flow of the world we know. Who knows with what intentions? By destroying a sacred artifact known as the Mask of Eternity, he turned everything near it into stone. The magic was so strong that had this villager of Daventry not stopped it, it would have spread even further.
Did you know this man?
Not before the incident. Quiet young man, but very brave. Connor by name. He defended his country with honor, defeated Lucredo, and restored the mask. He earned well his new title of Captain of the Royal Guard.
Did he not come to the wedding?
He stayed back at home to defend the castle.
You must trust him deeply.
I do, good man. I do.
Okay,
It
that's
has been a nice chat, but I had better return to my children.
Feel free to stop by and trade stories anytime.
Graham recalls Valanice telling him of meeting such a creature in the desert of Eldritch. Looks like someone who came through the Green Isles had a higher appreciation for the creature's antics than she did.
This game is really deep on storytelling. I love that.
Oh, please, let's not talk about Roger for another 5 minutes. There's a game to be played. I mean, there are people to be saved. You needed to have clicked the eye on bold first for this message to make any sense. And if you didn't, stop using the icons out of order.
Aren't these...
What?
Hear ye, now your inner glutton can be satisfied, and you'll never starve again. Daventry's own refilling bowls, used and approved by King Graham himself, whilst he sought the crown of Daventry. Warning, the contents of this food product may or may not contain any nutritional value. In fact, the contents of this food product and their origins have not been successfully identified. Do not place in oven or heat in microwave.
Microwave?
Oh, sorry. I mistook you for Roger Wilco.
Ah, Roger.
Graham still remembers the time Roger crashed into his moat after hitting the Don't Push button in the original Space Quest 1, the Sarian encounter.
Funny guy, a little bit out there.
What?
He insisted he came from the future.
It took the Daventry guards days before they could pull that strange device out of the water.
What did he call it? A space horse?
Ship, Graham. Spaceship.
He kept saying he wanted to be my first knight. I always thought he was good for cleaning the stables. I wonder where he is now.
Probably crashed at Schloss Ritter.
Where in Daventry is that?
You don't play too many adventure games, do you, Graham?
Contrary to your beliefs, I do. Over and over again.
Luckily for you, there is that save and load feature.
Yes, especially on those narrow edges in the early days.
Somebody ought to teach those players how to control those arrows.
It hurt. A lot.
Excuse me, sire. Are you talking to yourself?
No.
Oh man.
Web Begone, the latest technology
Wow.
getting rid of those pesky spider webs in the corners of your house.
Well, that was easy.
You can't just take it. You need to exchange it for something. This is a pawn shop after all.
Fine. The money
The
is...
pawn shop owner prefers to deal in trades over money, and gold coins are worth more than most of these items anyway.
Okay, well that's good time. So, well everyone, thanks for watching and tune into the next video.